Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk to you about lipo battery for the double horse 7009 RC boat. Now, for those that you don't know, these things come with a 6-cell nickel methyl hydrate 650 milliamp 7.2 volt battery. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. It comes with the boat when you take her out of the box. The big thing that's the drawback here is that it is 3-hour recharge time, or up to 3-hour recharge time from being depleted. So that's the actual real big drawback to this battery. Otherwise, I mean, hey, you get about 10 minutes of playtime for 3 hours of charge time, which when you do the math, that kind of really sucks. So what do? We need lipo power. Now, as far as speed goes out of the box, this thing's pretty fast, you know, no complaints there. Handles well, spins out a lot, which is cool. It's a little tiny V-hull, it's going to do that. You can do little setups with your rudder to, you know, get more turning radius, etc. So, I mean, there's some things you can actually do to this thing. Now, as far as the battery goes, lipo power I like for a lot of reasons. One, better throttle curve. I get faster response out of my throttle. It gives more punch to the system, so I'm actually getting more speed out of the boat too at the same time, and I'm going to get a lot longer run time as long as my milliamps are above the stock battery. Okay, and so we've got 800 milliamps at 7.4 volts, which is 0.2 of a volt more. This does not hurt your boat, okay? 0.2 of a volt is minuscule, it is nothing, okay? And I've never seen any such thing as a 7.2 volt lipo. But anyway, 7.4 is for lipo, 800 milliamps is a good milliamp range, and it keeps the size down and the weight. I don't know what the discharge rate on this is. This is out of my Lighthawk Aero helicopter. They don't even tell you what the discharge rate is. But it's not a real huge deal anyhow. With something this small, you're always going to have somewhere between 10 to 25 C. Okay, is going to be about your range for discharge rate on something this small anyhow. I don't think there's anything too much bigger anyway, at least not in this size. As far as dimensions go, this is where we've been looking around for the perfect size lipo battery for this boat. And the first time I tried the Lighthawk Aero battery, it just didn't seem to want to squish. I didn't want to force it. This time, I thought, you know what, let's try, put it in this way, twist around, and see how much room we actually have to squish stuff. And we really didn't have to squish stuff, because last time I just didn't want to force it. So I thought, you know what, I need lipo power. And I decided, and I checked it, and I got it to fit fine. No hassles. In fact, if you set it up right, you'll have your charge wire or balance lead pointing towards the back of the boat, and it's long enough that you could actually leave this thing in the boat all the time, especially if you're just going to zip tie it in place like I did. I actually zip tied it to the stuffing tube for the prop, and I just didn't, you know, over tighten it, you know, because you don't need to reef it in there. So just snug is all you need, and it's fine. Now, as far as dimensions go, for those of you that want to know, because if you don't want to order this from Lighthawk, because it is 18 bucks from them plus shipping and, you know, tax, whatever, you can get these things out of Hong Kong, Germany, China, a number of different places for probably a lot less money. Just means you're going to wait a little bit longer for it to come in the mail. But anyway, let's do our dimension check for you guys to let you know. Now, I'm going to do the thickness first, okay, so this way. Okay, so our main thickness of the two cells together is approximately 16.54 millimeter. Okay, the height isn't really a massive deal. If you went like 18 millimeters for thickness, not a big deal. Okay, width, so going this way right across, width wise we're looking at 29.83. Now, as far as the length of the battery, so from the charge wires to the back, you're going to be looking at 5327 millimeters. Okay, so you could probably push that not much more than about 55 millimeters in length, because you do have to watch your length. So good size battery. Those are your dimensions: 7.4 volt, 800 milliamp. No idea the discharge, but I had no problem running for approximately 20 minutes last night. No overheats, no farting, didn't blow a motor, no problems there. Everything went great. So I would consider this to be the perfect lipo upgrade battery for the double horse 7009. You will find faster throttle response, more speed out of the boat, longer play time. I mean, hey, you're already over the 650 milliamp stock battery, so now you're up to 800 milliamps. Okay, so it's all pluses here. Now, recharge time, it took approximately 1 hour to recharge this battery from pretty depleted. Okay, now the idea behind lipo batteries too is you don't want to run them dead. Okay, you want to keep them above 3 volts per cell, or at 3 volts per cell or above, is actually your safety limit. So if you're unsure about this, because there's no way to really super test these things to really find out, okay, with a multimeter, you need an actual tester. And these testers don't cost very much, and it tells you exactly how much is in each cell. And of course, you have the alarm feature. Now, not all these testers will have an alarm. Some of them just tell you, and of course we have ones that have alarms. Now the model that I sell here, this is a tester and alarm with dual horns all in one, and it goes from 1 cell to 8 cell, which is great. So you just plug your balance port right in here, it's gonna beep. You can set your voltage to where you want it, which is another benefit. So I would call this the deluxe model. This is the end all to be all of all tester and alarms as far as I'm concerned. You can set it right down below 2 volts, but that's not for lipo. Lipo, you don't want to drop below 3 volts per cell. So I would probably set this at about maybe 3.2 volts. If you really want to push it, set it to 3.1. But if you're going to do that, make sure that most of your driving is within about say 30 feet from you, so that by the time it gets back to you, you don't drop below the 3 volts. So safety wise, 3.2 per cell. Alarm goes off, gives you enough time to get back in. You should still be above that 3 volts per cell and good to go. Now that depends on how far away you're out, whether or not you got that time to come in. Keep that in mind as well. You know, so it's the same thing if you hook one of these things up to a helicopter or to your RC buggy. You've got to calculate for distance, what kind of power your toy consumes, to know if you're going to be within safety setups of what you set the alarm to go off at to the time it gets back to you, to make sure you're still in a safe zone for your lipo battery, so you don't blow up your battery, okay, or kill your battery off. So that's how that works. And so like I said, and this already has the proper connector for the double horse 7009 boat, which is nice too. You have nothing to cut off, or you don't have to make an adapter. Just plugs right in and away you go. So that is also another awesome part about this particular battery anyway. So when you're looking at these batteries online for a third-party solution other than Lighthawk, make sure it has your balance port, of course, because it will if it's a lipo, but also JST connector, okay, or whatever connector your boat happens to have. I know they did a revision change on the double horse 7009, sorry, where they did change the connector. Okay, now this is what I've seen online. So which one you have, make sure you get the right connector. If you do need a connector, you can easily chop the connector off of your NIM pack that came with your boat and attach it to the new lipo battery. Just make sure you get your polarities right. That's going to be extremely important. So anyway, that's about it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions at all or comments, feel free to leave them, and do my best to answer your questions, and we'll see you in the next video.